statement is that with mounting cyber attacks on critical infrastructure, such as oil and gas industries, banking, and healthcare platforms, our service providers prepare to react with a national warning against quantum attacks by adopting the next generation encryption protocols. And I put forward this challenge statement to Andrew from IronCAP. So take it away, Andrew.
Thank you very much, Farouk. Again, thank you for having us here. Very glad. A short answer to your question would be that the tidal wave of costly and disruptive cyber attacks is really costing our economy billions, yes, billions of dollars. Hackers basically locks up the victim's computer almost at will and demand ransom, which is a constant and scary reality these days. Just to name a few, everyone heard about the SolarWinds, Colonial Pipeline, JBS, the entire Irish healthcare system, and the most recent Kaseya ransomware attack. The list just goes on. And this is just the start. And 9 out of 10 of these attacks basically launch with a very simple phishing email. The size and the sophistication and the frequency have basically red light flashing at governments and boardroom of corporations all over the world. It is all about to get worse, a lot worse. And this is because the fast approaching quantum computing will render current encryption systems such as RSA useless. Now, SolarWinds alone, that hacks alone, basically open up the database of literally hundreds of government agencies and huge companies. The Wall Street Journal reported that US agencies, including part of the Pentagon, the Department of Homeland Security, the State Department, the Department of Energy, and the Treasury were all breached. And no wonder why. Then the US Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said, cyber attacks are now the foremost risk to the global financial system, even more so than the lending and liquidity risk that led to the 2008 financial crisis. And this truly elevates cyber attacks and ransomware from simply criminal activities to virtually national security level. In other words, cybersecurity is now front and center. With the massive funding by all nation-state players on top of the criminals, cyber attacks are getting bigger and more sophisticated. This is an equivalent of almost like a cyber Cold War. In addition to that, cyber threats using quantum computing power are now within reach and represent a whole new paradigm, as virtually all our existing encryptions are basically threatened. As mentioned a little earlier, that quantum computing has advanced rapidly with a huge number of technical advances, and nation states are investing billions of dollars every year into this research category. Forbes basically reported that the National Science Foundation, NSF, and the Department of Energy, DOE, announced the investment of more than $1 billion over the next 5 years for quantum information science, QIS, centers. Quantum encryption and quantum hacking are simply a significant subset of that. Now, with the past year that brought cyber threat to the front page, basically, the merging of cyber threat and quantum computing is not at all well understood by the public. We are basically nowhere near prepared for the fact that quantum computing power will render current encryption systems such as RSA totally obsolete and leave data unprotected. We at 01 or IronCAP, we saw this coming 5 years ago and invested time, money in IronCAP, which is the first to market quantum safe encryption, and is proven secure and commercially available today. With the basically with the arrival of quantum, as mentioned a little earlier, RSA-2K is broken fundamentally. And while there is still debate over when Q day arrives, like Q day is defined as the day when the bad guys are using quantum computing to do the dirty works, right? So while there's still debate over when that day would come, it is very important to remember that not all quantum computing development is made public. In other words, we will not be aware of the first quantum hack until it is too late. Even more distressing is that the hackers are already intercepting highly sensitive but encrypted information, and then they store it for future crack using quantum computers. In other words, it is already late in the game. As quantum computing becoming more commercially available, they will be used to break the encryption that protects the stolen data. So I think I have said, enough of the background about this challenge. And today, I'm very happy to have our expert panelists. They will basically discuss furthermore in details about how the industry perceives the arrival of quantum computing and how we can prepare for the soon-to-arrive quantum threat. So thank you, and we'll go into the panel discussion.